going to start with the PWN lab machine. That will be our Linux based. And over here, we're going to go to the Linux and we can see the IP address, which is 192.168.0.105. So this machine is having some web application based vulnerability. And you can see we have home, login, and uploads over here. But before that, I have used my NetDiscover to identify the IP address of the network. And I'm going to use the map over there. So small s, capital C, with the small s, capital V, and the T4, and the IP address. And that would be my 105. Yep. So over here, we can try one by one all the things which we have to use for information gathering part. And what I can see that over here, we have port 80 is open over there. And there are triple one, which is your RPC ports. And we can see that in the server side, there are applications like your UDP also is running. And what we have 3306, which is our MySQL over here, and which is an open MySQL. Okay, and we have the version of MySQL. So what we can do over here, we can see the status is automate. You can see over here they have given all the things one by one. Oracle, VirtualBox, NIC. This is a normal thing. So what we're going to do over here, we're going to try the crawling path. So it would be my burster. So the crawling part is all about information gathering from the web server. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the URL, increase the number of threads, user, share, we're going to do word list. I'm going to use burster, use any of this one, so I'm going to use a small one. And we know this is PHP, so let's start. So what do we have? We have some index.php, some upload, some config.php, and some image directories, and the login. So over here, we can see that in the back end there was a MySQL was running over there, and we have long, home, and upload. So you must be logged. So they have given a username and password field. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try Sql Authentication bypass cheat sheet. What is your single code or function? 1 minus minus space. Let's copy this one and paste it over here. It's saying login field. So what we can do, we can try to gain access. So our main object would be to identify the services and their version. So over here we see that in the crawling part we have some index, upload, and PHP files. And over here I can see there is a page is equal to login. So over here I'm going to introduce you a new vulnerability. That would be my LFI vulnerability. So LFI stands for local file inclusion and remote file inclusion vulnerability. There's obviously often found in poorly written web application. This vulnerability occurs when a web application allows the user to submit input into files and upload files from the server side. Inputs from the files. So what could be the possibilities over here? So in this machine, you can see there is a etc page is equal to login part. So what I'm going to do, let it be over here. So we have index, we have upload, we have config.php file, and we can see over here also they have find the possibilities. And I'm going to run burp suite first of all. So we have to intercept this process. So let's save this one. So we can insert this CS certificate in our web server. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my network part. Same 127.0.0.1. And over here, I'm going to use cert, which is my certificate. In authorities, import. Yes, so it's done. So over here, we're gonna try. There's a page is equal to, and the page, and I can see that LFI is a common vulnerability, which submits and allowed to submit an input on the file. So over here, you can see a login is a file over there on the server side. So what we can do, we can try LFI vulnerability, or you can say LFI GitHub payloads. So these are basically some vulnerabilities that you can use over here. You can see etc password. In version of PHP below 5.3.4, we can transmit the null byte. But over here, if I get the information from the word web, through word web, we can examine the PHP version. So over here, I can see Apache 2.2.4, and over here we have nothing else. So I'm going to run this again.
What does what web does?
Word web is basically used to identify the services and their version, which is running in the server side. It's just
So
like your, it's like just like your
Rappler,
webalizer.
Rappler, right?
Yes.
Okay. Webalizer.
So my webalizer was not working, so I just used word web.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. So over here, I'm gonna use some payload list over here. There are lots of payloads over here, one by one. So you can try to copy one by one, and you can simply paste it over here to check. No, there's nothing.
You can try adding null byte before the etc. I think
Null
if you
byte,
skip to.
is basically to end the array.
Ah, yes, yes. No, but if we add it before the etc, it will jump to the etc library. I think. Can we try
Yes.
doing that? The last command as well. Because what happened is it's gonna give a 2500%, I think, something like that. So load will be coming in.
There are lots of things over here. But what do you have to do when you find something data like over here, which is given? For example, they have given index.php, uploads.php, and config.php. So over here, what we can do, we can try LFI payload list GitHub. Word list for brute force, yes. Okay, so we have a proper word that we're gonna use to check the vulnerability over here. So let's download this one from raw. Okay, so I'm gonna copy the URL and I'm gonna paste it over here on the CD desktop, and I'm gonna use the wget command to fetch the file, and we have the download. So it was list.txt file. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to intercept the request over here, and I'm going to intercept this payload. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one over here for recognize the packet. So let's intercept and run. And over here, I can see the request packet is captured. So over here, I'm going to use intruder. From my side, I'm going to drop the packet. I don't want. So over here in intruder, we're going to go to the positions and we're going to clear the tag. And over here, I'm going to use the payload, which is over here. So add tag that we're going to use we're going to use the tag sniper because it's a single parameter value. And over here, we're going to go to the payload set and the simple, and I'm going to load the payload, which is my desktop list.txt. And let's start.
There is one question here. When we do this, when we run intruder, okay, the status for all the payload which we are going to insert, or all the payloads you're going to insert, always comes out to be status 200. How to differentiate? Look, is there any way to that so that we can differentiate whether which is correct or which is not, which is
The,
relevant?
the maximum length of the packet, because if the maximum length of the packet will execute the buffer size of the server. But over here, I can see there are only 406. And over here, I can see nothing is working. See,
There is one more thing. Why are we doing it like this? Why didn't we try to brute for it through the username password?
because this is a different machine over here. Each and every machine has a different one. So I'm gonna teach you about one of the one things. This machine over here, Fawn Lab, is basically vulnerable to LFI vulnerability. For example, as we have discovered the directory, which is your index, your uploads, your
Yes.
config PHP.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find some vulnerabilities of any of the directories, these are some index files. These are the files which is on the server side.
Yes, yes.
So what we can do, we can try to manipulate, or we can simply get the data from the server intent. So there
And
are
and are, and
yes.
are we able to upload use this directory upload? Was there a browser, or was there a setting for us to upload a file?
You
Okay,
must
you
be
must log in. Okay, okay. Sorry. Got it.
yeah. So over here we need to find the vulnerability one by one.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, no issue. You can ask some questions.
So I joined late, so you must have already discussed it. That's right. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no issue. So what do we have? We have another list of payloads over here. There are lots of payloads that you can use over here. So what I'm going to show you is how we can find some databases. For example, over here we find that there are some was files, and you can use one more thing, which is your nicto over here. You can see through nicto we can find the vulnerable servers and some databases contains over here in the backend process. You can see cookie PHP created without. You can see there is a config.php file. PHP file only contains database IDs and passwords. See. So the most important part is you have to enumerate and you have to look one by one all the things. So over here, there was a page is equal to file, as we have mentioned. So over here in the backend, we have filed the config.php file. Some of the attackers, they simply enumerate the backend side databases. For example, they look for the PHP filters to enumerate the backend databases from variables. PHP LFI filters. So over here you can see they have given this application, this command. You can see there's a index dot this. See, if you find some data on the backend side, like your php.config file, your index file, your upload files, so you can convert the basis for encryption set over here. See, PHP filters are basically used to get the data to filter the data on the backend side. Local file inclusion vulnerability. Hmm? So over here, what we can do, we can try to enumerate one by one all the things over here. For example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the PHP filters over here, and we're going to try to intercept this one. So again, I'm going to intercept. So one, okay. So what you're going to do, we're going to send this one to repeater, and I'm going to drop the packet again. So we're going to try to enumerate. So over here, we have page is equal to 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this parameter value with this. Why? Because we're going to have to look for the database on the server side. So over here, I have given index. So we know in the crawling part, we find that there was a file of index also. Let's try to enumerate this one. And what we have in the backend, we can see over here, we have a proper encryption shell, which is your base 64. Base 64 filter, LFI filters are basically used in various types. Most of the attacker, they use to enumerate or simply extract the backend database. Okay, so I guess we can try one thing. We can copy this one, and I can try over here. Cool. So we can copy this one, which is your encrypted encoded base 64 of your index.php file. So it's a configuration file, so you can say a script or the code which is running the backend. You can see over here. So I'm going to use decoder over here. So decode as base 64. And over here, I can see they have given something relevant data. For example, I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to make it over here. So over here, we have a PHP code and it describes not implemented yet. Okay, multi-angle, which is not implemented. Set cookie, which is your language PHP. Okay, so they said there's a they didn't have implemented anything on the cookie parameter. You can see, which is your language.php file. It includes language.php file in the cookie parameter. Okay, so not implemented. HTML PNW lab, hrefs. It's a normal thing over here in the upload directory. So they have given there is a header which cookie header which is not implemented. So there is a language.php file can be executed from there. Okay, so what we can do, we can try to look more things. For example, there was an upload file also. So let's try to find upload. Yeah. So over here we find upload. And over here, we're going to copy this one and I'm going to paste over here. So over here, let's see what was starting PHP session start. Okay. Okay, we have this one. So this was for upload, and this one was for index. So what I'm gonna do, let's see this one. Okay, session started. I set in a username must be login. Okay. So they have given the post method, encrypted multi-part, upload directory. You can see over here they have given one by one. Okay, and they have given you can see the file type, the uploaded directory. They have given the directory also, which is your upload directory on the server side. We reveal the directory over here, and we have file and we have whitelist. Okay, we have some arrays over here, which is describing JPG, GIF, and PNG files can be uploaded over there. And what we have, this is a normal uploaded ph.php file. Okay, cool. Let's check the config file, if we can get the config file. So config. So over here, I'm going to write config as per my data. So the config file, we have get it from here. And the nicto also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this one. And let's try over here. And in the config file, I can see they have given root and some password. And I can see this is a server local host with the user root and the password. But I guess this is a database password, database server password. And we can see over here in the back end that there was a MySQL was running, and which is open. So it means we can communicate with that one. So what I'm going to do, when you have the password, we have.
Partho, sorry.
Yes.
You said that you were trying to look for the database there, but you already got the database information from the nmap. So why are we looking for the database? Like what kind of a database we have? Why were you doing this? Means I did not understand. I thought that maybe we didn't know what kind of a database we had.
This is a MySQL database.
Yes. No, when you were explaining it, na, you said that we need to see what kind of a database we have. So that's why I was asking.
What kind of database we have for the server side? Over here, I was talking about MySQL.
Okay.
Which kind of server they have? Database server.
On the back end, right?
Yeah, it could be MySQL, it could be Oracle, it could be anything you can say.
Okay, so this does not represent the backend database server values.
It's a backend database, huh? But over
Exactly,
here,
that's what I'm thinking.
it's basically reveals some configuration files like your root and the password of the local host server, which is your database credentials.
नहीं अच्छा शायद मैं समझ नहीं पा रही मेरा क्वेश्चन मैं क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहा था कि देखो nmap में हमारा डेटाबेस आ गया था ठीक है MySQL लेकिन अभी जो हम एन्यूमरेशन कर रहे हैं तो हम ना डेटाबेस जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि उसके बैकएंड में क्या डेटाबेस है तो ये जो डेटाबेस यहाँ पर आया ये बैकएंड का डेटाबेस नहीं आया बैकएंड का ही आया ना ये जो MySQL है या फ्रंट एंड है
डेटाबेस मिला क्या है डेटाबेस का पासवर्ड मिला ना हमें पासवर्ड यहाँ पे रिवील हुई है जो कि कॉन्फ़िगरेशन फाइल में वहाँ पे बता रहा था ना ये निकल
तो डेटाबेस अभी मिला नहीं तो MySQL के किसको रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है फिर वो जो MySQL वहाँ पर दिखा रहे हैं वो क्या है
MySQL किस लिए यूज होता है आपका डेटाबेस ही तो है
बिल्कुल वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ ना तो वो बैकएंड के डेटाबेस है ना
वो ऑब्वियसली सर
हाँ तो बिल्कुल सो बैकएंड का डेटाबेस है तो अभी फिर हम जो हमें ये पता है कि MySQL डेटाबेस है तो उसके ऊपर हम एन्यूमरेट कर रहे हैं LFI ढूंढने के लिए राइट ये कर रहे हैं
LFI के थ्रू मुझे यहाँ पे पैकेट्स मिल गए थे LFI के थ्रू मुझे यहाँ पे पेज इज इक्वल टू था जो कि आपके include.url और include.upload होना चाहिए if you remember the concept of LFI
no I remember the concept of LFI क्वालिफाई का मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है चलो ठीक है आप करो मैं इसके ये क्वेश्चन मैं नोट करता हूँ मैं आपको बाद में पूछूंगा थोड़ा डिटेल में लेट्स तो अभी ये कंप्लीट करते हैं
so over here we find the LFI vulnerability which is your config.php contains a database query And over here we have the username and the password. So this was the local server credentials to get access the MySQL server. Sometimes we get some databases credentials over there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get access to the MySQL server. So over here, what I'm gonna do, MySQL -h, which is the host IP address, and that would be my 105-u user root and -p. So over here, you can see we can connect with that server locally on the server side. And we are in. You can see Oracle, MariaDB, corruption, and AI programs. So what we're going to do, we're going to track show databases. What do we have? Sorry. Show databases. So we have information schema and users over there. So what we're going to do, select star from users. Okay, it was capital U. No database is selected. Okay. Use. Sorry. Show databases. Use users. Yes. So tables. So we're gonna track the table names, and we have a table name user over there. So we're gonna use select star from users. And over here we can see some username and password which is encrypted format. So I'm going to copy this one and we're going to paste it over here. And this is basically a base 64, so you can try hash identifier. It's not found over here, but if you check in the Google, it basically telling us that it's a base 64. So we can use online tools. So we're going to use base 64 decoder. So let's decode this one. Okay, we have some words like A over here. Let's decode again this one. Yeah. So we have the passwords of user Kent, Mike, and Ken. So let's try to gain access. So I'm going to use Kent first of all. So let's try to log in. So we're going to use Kent and the password. Over here we can see the password of Kent was both finally over there, and we have a proper access to the server side. So what we can do, there was a user, 3 users, Mike, Ken, and other things. So over here you can see that we have a browse file. So let's try to upload a file over here. So I'm going to use a normal image. So the file has been uploaded. We can see normally. But our main concern would be we can upload a PHP shell, because over here we're gonna check for the file upload vulnerability. So for that case, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the downloads, I'm gonna go to the tools directory, and we have PHP. So over here, let's try to change this one on the PHP part. And we know that this is a reverse shell, so already have mentioned my IP address. So when it will call, so it will give a written address. So let's check my IP address, which is your 110, and the port number that I'm using is 44448. Okay, so let's try to upload this one. So for that, I'm going to go to the browser, browse, and let's go to downloads, tools, PHP reverse shell, and uploads. So over here, not allowed extension. Please upload image file only. So why this happened? Because in the back end, yes,
GPG and all those.
yes, there was a whitelisting over there. So what we're gonna do over here, I'm gonna simply change with any of this extension. So let's use GIF. We have an error of 002. What is this error over here? Sometimes when we are uploading a file on the server side, it also read the inside of the packet. Error 002 denotes excessive stress on motor, which typically means the orifice of the PD is blocked. PD tip is blocked. Then to clear the push the enter key or letter on the screen indicates that the reference will need to be done. So it's now basically uploading the file. So what you can do, we can look for file upload, vulnerability. So here, a local file include vulnerability is a vulnerability where an application allows a user to upload a malicious file directly and then execute it. So over here, how we prevent file upload vulnerability. Over here, they are given unsecured file uploads, file upload vulnerabilities. The best thing here you can learn from Medium websites. How I gain unrestricted file upload in remote code execution part. You can see logo uploaded, a functionality that allows a user to upload a logo on their profile. So they have simply used it on the real life websites. So what I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna change this one, and we're gonna try PHP. Sorry, yes, PHP. So our major concern would be we're gonna try to look for the vulnerabilities one by one. So
Is the error came because of double extensions which we did by any chance?
yes,
Like PHP.
yes, but over here we have to use the, if I use GIF one, so it will not execute because it's a GIF file. So we have to give double extension over here. See this one. If I try to give GIF, uh, GIF.
But do we have any? We can find out any vulnerabilities script or shell, script with the shell from which is there in the GIF format, maybe.
Yes, we can try that one. So over here, we can try to upload some other things just like one by one. So let me show you over here. For example, we're gonna use a double extension because we want to use the PHP also. But in many cases, you have to change the source code because some of the servers they read the first source, which is your PHP. So what we're gonna do over here, we're gonna try to add a different tag, which is your GIF98, which is your extension of your GIF file. You can see over here, if you find GIF98, see, PHP decode, PHP coded by shell, at page, GIF. There are lots of things, because the first thing it's gonna read the source code of the PHP file. So we're gonna remove this one and we're gonna write GIF file, and it will read like a normal file over there. So let's try, have a look. Will it work or not? Not allow extension. Let's try with GIF. Again, we have an error. Still. Yes, now it's uploaded. You can see over here. So what we did, let me check over here. I'm gonna. So over here, I simply merge with the GIF98 because there was a space. So it will read the first letter of the source code. That would be my GIF, and the second would be my PHP. So some of the attackers, they use double encode of the source code to bypass the filter, you can say, and many other things. So over here, we can try to check with the interception also. So let's try with this one. You can see over here. So I'm going to use repeater. Through the repeater, I can see the file has been over here with my. So what we're going to do, we're going to do send. And when I simply send this one, I can see 200, which is your uploaded file. And there was a mistake again. It was shell.gif file. So let's change it, shell.gif. Now it's saying error on the server. So the major concern would be how we can simply enumerate or upload the file, because there are many things that we have to do one by one. So it was a normal PHP shell, etc., that we already have uploaded on our local browser also. So over here, the file has been uploaded, but we need to specify the file path. So over here, if you see the upload PHP file, upload PHP. So they have mentioned that the file will be uploaded on the upload directory. They have specified the directory where you can upload the directory. So it was an upload directory. So over here, what I'm going to do, we can try to check in the inspect element. And you can see the file is over here. image source. It was an image directory. Sometimes, because of the poor code, we can simply or we can also check the backend source code where we can the file has been uploaded. So we can see the file has been uploaded in the upload directory as per the data, and this is the proper file type, which is your GIF file. Now the major concern is how we can execute this one. How?
When we directly put it on the URL and try to see if it's getting executed.
You can try one thing, but we have find that there is an index.php file on the server side, and it's saying they didn't implement it yet the cookie header, and in the cookie header there was a language.php file. So what will happen? We can simply use the cookie parameter, and we can use the language part to execute our query. For example, let me show you one thing. Let's delete some of the files over here. See this one. So as they have mentioned that there was a cookie parameter and that was not proper implemented. So what we can do over here, we can change the parameter. Why? Because it was not proper implemented or not proper developed. So there was a language part that was working over there. So we're gonna use a language parameter, the language file, which is a file path. Language.php is also a file from the server side, as per the PHP server LFI vulnerability. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check if I can simply execute this one to gain some files, which is your etc password. Let's see, and you can see over here it's working fine. It's all about the language parameter, is it was working or not, and this parameter value was getting a proper execution thing. And we can see root daemon bin system, because the application was not implemented on the server side as per the local file inclusion vulnerability. So if I give this path on the server side, will it execute? Because I can see that we have a proper output over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a // again, but I'm going to use my upload.php file to execute, because this query will execute from the server side. For my case, let's use netcat numeric listening verbose port with the 4448. Let's try if it executes. And over here, I can see a proper shell. It was all about to get the access on the server side. A proper shell, so we can simply use it for making a proper server-side request. So what we can do, we can try to enumerate lots of other things. So in my case, I will try to execute. So we are on the server. Let's see where we are. PWD, we are on the root directory. And if I type who am I, we are www. But over here, what I'm going to do, I already know some of the users. So let's use Kent. Oh, first of all, let's proper have a TTY. So over here, I'm going to use my got milk and Payato. So I'm going to find my Python server because we need a TTY. But over here, let's check. Yes, we have. and I have a proper TTY. So su Kent, now the Kent password, so it was the password over here. So we are Kent. Okay, the favorite command which I'm going to use sudo -l to check the password. Okay, command not found. Okay, let's see cat etc password directory. There was a user John Kent Mike Ken on MySQL, okay, which has been bash and some of the home directories. So let's have a look on the term environment variables not set. Okay, export term is equal to xterm. Yes, now it's working. So let's move to the home directory and see what we can find on the user directories. And this machine, I'm going to specify a new vulnerability, and we were talking about, let me show you. Today we're going to use exploiting user with dot in their path. So we're going to use this one today. And one more thing, as I mentioned you before, we're going to try to use sudo executable files. So I have mentioned you set user ID files, which is specified with a different user. So over here, let's use this application. So we have mount su bin password examine 4 is running over there. Cool. So let's use okay, let's see lsf and all. So we have the read and write permission. So let's see the first users. Okay, we don't have permission. Let's use scan cd Kent. Okay, so we have file bash logout, bash rc, and profile. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna change the username because I have can also. Let's try with the mic. So su mic. Authenticating failure. Okay, so let's use can, I guess. Su can. Yes, we can execute this one. So lsf and all. cd can. And what we have over here, we have msg mic. And look what I was talking about. So this application, which is my application, which has a sudo executable file. But when I simply use this command on my server side, I didn't find, okay, there was mic. Okay, is it? In this scan, you see there was no mic. So I think each and every find parameter works with a different user permissions.
Might be that the permission was not allowed there for that one.
Can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess can has the permission. So we can see msg mic. And over here, I can see sudo executable files. So let's see how does it looks like. So let's copy this one, cat. Okay, we have something like over there, cat mic.txt file. Okay, I'm going to clear this one first of all. Okay, msg mic. No such file or directory. Okay, so I'm going to use the string command, I guess. strings, and what I see over there, it's a cat command which is given over here, cat home mic.txt file. So in the home directory in the mic folder, there was a message.txt file. So what I'm going to do over here, so the user mic is running a cat command, which is basically used for opening a file on the server side. So I will basically need to use this file, msg mic. So why it's not running? And over here we can see there was a cat command that was running the msg mic over here. So think about it, the cat, over here we're gonna run cat command instead of mic. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to execute one by one all the things in our possibilities. So I'm gonna make a cat command in my temp directory, and it will execute with the with user mic. So over here,
खुला
sorry,
हुआ है? अरे खुला हुआ है?
Web sir.
Sorry, मुझे याद नहीं था. Sorry.
Yes, I was. It's a recorded class, so I have to delete that words.
Yeah, please. I'm so sorry.
Okay, not interested. So over here, the mic user was running a cat command on his directory, and it was mic.txt file. So over here, we're gonna use some environment variables. So instead of we're gonna create a bash command with the cat file. So if any of the user has to be run that cat command, it will execute the normal file which we're gonna create. So it was on the temp directory. So let's see, cd temp. We're gonna use echo command. We're gonna make a file on echo command. I'm gonna make a file called bin bash, and I'm gonna save this file on a cat folder. And I'm gonna specify this function also. So you can see a cat file over there. So over here I'm gonna use change mode. We're gonna give all the permission to every user. So 777 and cat. And I'm gonna do one more thing, and that would be my exploring user dot with dot over there. So it's a binary file first of all. So if any of the user will run cat command, it will run from the inbuilt of the binary. So having dot in your path means that the user is able to execute binary script from the current directory to avoid having the enter those two extra characters every time. For example, 2 extra character means dot// they are talking about. So in this scenario, the user add dot in their path. That can be excellent method for attacker to escalate their privileges. Let's say Suzanne has an administrator and she added dot in her path so that she doesn't have to write the 2 characters. So an attacker simply execute any commands on the server side. So this happened Linux first searches for the program in the current directory when it added to the path for giving the Linux search over here. So for example, they have also used the cat command. You can see cat ls echo hello, but they're gonna change the environment variables, the path variables. You can see path $path adds in the dot path in their variables. So we're gonna add this one. So but we have to specify the path where we have to use this one. So over here we're gonna add on the temp directory, and that would be my export path variables and the path of the directory, which is your temp. Yes, so it's executed. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute the msg.mic if it works or not. So cd dot let's use mic because we have to specify the cat parameter, msg mic, and we can change that we have changed with the user mic over there because the cat command was running with the user privileges, and over here I specify the current directory of the user mic. So it was all about the string variables that can be used for many other things. So let's see where we are. Let's see home directory. We have a same file, message to root, and this is a user file, you can see, which has root user also, the sticky user also. So this application is also running as root permissions. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to execute this command. First of all, let's see what is this file. Message to root. So it also running as a permission. So think about, we can write anything over here. For example, I'm going to say hello. So it will reflect to the user root on the server side. But what attacker tried to execute one more command over here. So if I write hello, and we're going to use double quote, double and. Why? Because I'm going to specify one more string or one more query with this one. So I'm going to use bin sh. Let's see what happened if I simply say hello, then following a next command over here, and I can see root. Who am I? Can I go to the directory? Yes, we have the flag.txt. The cat command is running as a variable path. So it basically whenever I'm running cat, it's showing bin bash. So you can see that environment variables, you can change the variables as per your need, because I simply put the cat variables. Whenever a user will run cat command, it will simply enumerate the services. So you can see one by one. Message to root is also was the file path that we have used to escalate our privileges, because this application was also sudo executable files.